Welcome to Horse Racing Gamer, where champions are made.
YouTube, what's going on? Horse Racing Gamer here. Welcome to my top 4 predictions for the 2022 Haskell. Now keep in mind that any late scratches could come in between the time that this video is uploaded and obviously the day before race day or even race day itself. Now these are the current horses that are scheduled and predicted to be in this Haskell. Like I said, some of them might pull out late. We should have at least a minimum of 6 horse field. There's still a possibility maybe a couple horses don't end up actually running in this race. So without further ado, let's get into the first horse on screen. As you can see right here, which is Benevango, going off at 20 to 1. Now, this horse personally, as far as kind of an outside shot, I do like compared to some of the others. Last time ran at Monmouth Park on June 24th in an allowance race at 8.5 furlongs. Won that allowance race, set the pace, and essentially led from gate to wire. And I like the horse's endurance for this particular distance here in the Haskell. So I think Benevango is a good outside shot horse to look at. Now, I'm not saying that this horse is obviously going to come away with the win, but I think this horse, depending on the pace, could be there at the right time. But more than likely, I'm looking at this horse maybe for trifectas or supers. But that is Benevango, and of course they have not drawn the horses yet, so we have no idea what post position they will be in come race time. That's Benevango, excuse me. Now, number 2 on this list is going to be Jack Christopher, who I think is the favorite as we speak, going off at 3 to 2. I like this horse a lot. Won the G1 Woody Stevens Stakes, had no competition in that race, essentially ran as a preceder and was essentially neck and neck for the lead for the entirety of the race. Had plenty of stamina left in the tank to open up to a lead by more than 5 lengths in the stretch. I like this horse, but the distance is still a question mark because that last race, I believe, was at 7 furlongs. So obviously we will be pushing the envelope a little bit further on that when it comes to the Haskell. But I think this horse has the strength, has the pedigree to make this race work. And I think the rest of the public also seems to agree with that. Going off at 3 to 2, obviously if I'm trying to play something a little bit bigger, I would like those numbers to look a little bit better than 3 to 2 currently, but we'll see what happens once we obviously get there to race day. Just a quick disclaimer as well, obviously I'm not giving any financial advice. These are just the horses I'm looking at, and if you guys would obviously like to use that to help yourself kind of determine maybe who you want to look at in this race, that's perfectly fine. So Jack Christopher I like a lot. Again, he's going off at 3 to 2. Next, we come up to Howling Time, who's going off at 10 to 1. Now, of course, you guys know how I am about these price tags. I like the 10 to 1 territory for Howling Time. Had an awesome run last time at Churchill Downs in the last stakes race at 8.5 furlongs. Finished second behind Cyberknife in a photo finish that I personally believe actually should have went to Howling Time, but the winner was Cyberknife in that race. Howling Time and Cyberknife essentially set the pace at the front, and there was nobody else in the race competing with them. So I expect the case to probably be the same. I'd be very shocked if Howling Time and Cyberknife weren't again going neck for neck in the beginning of this race, which also makes me think this potentially could be a fast pace because I think at least half of the field, half of the current field are front runners. So I expect several horses to be competing obviously for that opening pace. So that is Howling Time going off at 10 to 1. And last but not least on this list is Cyberknife, going off at 6 to 1. And again, these horses were in the last race together, and it was a photo finish, so they were essentially neck and neck. I like Cyberknife a lot. Beautiful horse. I would like to see Cyberknife win another big race. So in regards to Cyberknife and Howling Time, I mean, I like both horses. I can't necessarily pick one or the other because I really felt like that photo finish could have went either way, despite the fact that obviously Cyberknife was rated and deemed the winner. So I think you're safe with either one of these two horses. They've proven they can run together. They've proven they can at least handle 8.5 furlongs, which is very close to the distance they'll be running for the Haskell. So I like both of these guys. And I'm really looking forward, obviously, to this race. I'm hoping it stays at an 8-horse field. If it's 6 horses, that's not bad. Hopefully, it'll be a fast pace and everybody will be able to keep up so we have a pretty close and quality finish. We'll have to wait and see, though. Like I said, any late last-minute scratches could happen between now, which is July 20th, and obviously when the Haskell goes off. So we'll just have to wait and see. But again, I'm going with Cyberknife, Howling Time, Jack Christopher, and then on the outside looking in, I have Benevango. Some people may be wondering why I'm not looking at White Abarrio or Taba. I haven't seen much for Taba. Lack of recent performances is hard for me to judge. I think this horse will be lucky if they find themselves into the top 4. White Abarrio is going off at 5-1. I've been a little bit disappointed with White Abarrio, despite the fact that he had an excellent showing in the Ohio Derby behind Tawnyport, I thought, finishing P2. I did watch that race, but I'm still worried about White Abarrio. I just don't know if maybe now running against these tougher horses, will he struggle? Will he be able to keep up with the pace and finish in the top 2, the top 3? I personally think the horses I put on this list earlier today have a better chance of finishing in the top 3 compared to White Abarrio. But we'll have to wait and see. I mean, if these other horses end up tiring out, that is going to be White Abarrio's chance. And he has shown and proven, based off of the Derby, based off of the Kentucky Derby back in May, the Ohio Derby back in June, he's proven he can handle the distance. So there's no questions about that. It's just whether or not he's going to be extremely competitive with this field. In the Haskell, I think he has a chance. Again, he's a horse that I would say is an outside looking in horse. I just personally like the other horses that I've listed in this video, but I think if any of them end up tiring out and gas themselves too much, White Abarrio, I believe, will be there to pick up the pieces as long as he can handle the pace. Like I said, the endurance is not a question, but how this pace will be, I think, will dictate whether or not we see White Abarrio finishing in the top 3. King of Hollywood and One Time Willard, I don't know much about these horses. I watched both of their last outings. I was not impressed with either of them personally, so I would say if you're going to bet on either of those two, you're just kind of hoping, obviously, for a big payoff. But based off of what I've seen, I just don't personally see either of them making much of an impression in this Haskell, if they're still going to be in the race, obviously, come this weekend. But guys, that is my predictions here for the 2022 Haskell. Again, card is subject to change, so anything I say in this video today could be different by the time we get to the race. But as long as the top 4 horses I listed in this video earlier are still going to be in the race, again, I like Howling Time and Cyberknife for sure to be at the front. I think Jack Christopher looks like the strongest horse in this field. And Benevango, even though he's going off at 21, I like him as kind of a what-if horse. I think he has a good chance to finish up near the front. And like I said, if you get him into an exotic and he finishes second or something, could have a nice payday as well. Appreciate you guys for the love and support. Make sure to subscribe for the channel here for our weekly horse racing content, mainly gaming content. And of course, as I've been saying across a couple of my last discussion videos, I will be covering more of the bigger races and horse racing more often. I just really haven't had the time to dive into every single graded stakes races I've wanted, but as soon as I get time, I will do my best to fit that into my schedule. So again, appreciate you guys for love and support. Unfortunately, that's all the time I have for you today, but I will see you all later. Let me know your thoughts in regards to the 2022 Haskell and who you think is going to come out on top and what horses you're liking. I'll see you in the comment section below and for the Haskell. Bye.
Welcome to Horse Racing Gamer, where champions are made.